Welcome to CHMA Broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, Canada. You're listening either on 106.9 FM in the Tantramar area or at www.chmafm.com.
On the internet.
That is on the internet. This is Ground Control at YMC Midgic Airport. You are joining myself, Air Traffic Controller Thomas.
And me, Air Traffic Controller Luke.
Join us for the next hours. We watch the skies, listen to some tunes, chat, and we will be done by so. Luke.
Yes. I'm looking out the airport window. Air traffic control break room window. Obviously, we don't do this from our workstation.
No, but we aren't technically in the break room. We are live in studio.
Not pre-recorded live.
Not pre-recorded live. Straight up live. You could call CHMA right now, and I would try to get you on the line if I could. But Luke, what's the weather out, man?
It is sunny. It's maybe like a little cool.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like I was thigh deep in a river yesterday.
I was not.
And it was brisk.
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah. Even more so than I had anticipated a certain level of coolness, perhaps. Mm-hmm. What I found was
brisk.
A sudden realization that the wetsuit offered to me should have perhaps been put to use.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, that's where I'm going to leave it. So today's weather is beautiful.
It is.
At least here at the airport in Midgic. Mm-hmm. Cows seem to be enjoying it.
Of course.
And the rest of the week, I'll just say it's going to be like this.
Yeah, I agree. I have no clue if it is, but...
No, and that's not really important.
No, we are here to give people hope.
Yeah.
Is
that what we're here for?
I think we are here for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
Just
perhaps
the same as...
not always factual information.
Yeah, we're just like every other news media organization in the world.
That's a different conversation.
So, hey, let's just get right into our first song.
What do you got for a tune for me? You gotta pump us up. Kind of start the tune.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about the ECMAs.
Oh, yes.
And I'm still
over on the island this year.
Over on the island, yeah. I was over here. It was over in Charlottetown.
Had to cross the bridge. Just think of the revenue.
Oh, yeah. Well, the government doesn't get the revenue anymore, does it?
I don't know who gets the revenue.
I think it's a private company that gets the revenue.
Is it?
Yeah.
All I know is it's expensive to go and expensive to come back.
Those things are true.
They only charge you once, though.
Yes, only on the way back. You can go there. You just can't ever leave.
Yeah.
That's PEI is Hotel California. Hey, you know what? Let's start with Neon Dreams.
Right.
If I remember correctly, their album, Love Child Baby Dolphin, won.
Excuse me, their album what?
Love Child Baby Dolphin.
Okay.
Any questions?
No follow-up questions. Just making sure I heard that right.
Yeah, you did. One album of the year. And this is one of the tracks off Neon Dreams' album that just won album of the year. This track is This Is It by Neon Dreams.
You don't love her cause your heart win, ba-dum-bum. You love her cause your heart said that it's true. When you walk in, everything that's dark leaves. You're like brown, red, yellow, gold leaves. Petals of your heart is a mystery. When it's so cold, baby, you the sunbeams. When I'm down on me, you stay. Through the mud in the worst days. Man, I swear I heard God say, boy, listen. You don't love her cause your heart went ba-dum-bum. You love her cause your heart said that it's true. And you don't like him cause he's wealthy. And you don't like him cause he's rich. You love her cause your heart said this is it. When you walk in light, all my demons hide. When you get too close, they get terrified. When I'm feeling low, You're right there to hold me. When I'm down, only you stay. Through the mud and the worst days. Man, I swear I heard God say, boy, listen. You don't love her cause your heart went boom, boom. You love her cause your heart said that it's true. And you don't like him cause he's wealthy. And you don't like him cause he's rich. You love her cause your heart said this is it.
That was it.
That's the song.
That
dude.
was. This is it.
This is it. This is it. Was
that.
it? Yes, was that.
Fantastic.
Hey, guess what we're talking about now?
Sports?
We're talking about sports balls.
You know I love sports ball.
You love sports ball, especially when we actually don't talk about sports ball at all, and when we talk specifically about players.
Oh, an athlete.
An athlete that plays.
In what shaped ball sport does this
This ball is oblong. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, sometimes they're thicker, sometimes they're
I'm gonna go
skinnier.
with football, just
it's
based
football,
on it's the only one I know. The other than rugby, but it's a numbers game. I'm gonna go for football for 200, please.
It is football. We're gonna talk about Chad Kelly for a second. So Chad Kelly, well, I don't know how much you like Chad here.
Is he being awful chatty?
I think he would. Yes, you could say he could be described as a Chad.
Okay. What did this Chad do?
Well,
is this another betting against one's team thing?
It's not.
Oh, well.
It's not. So, Chad Kelly is the quarterback for the Argos.
That's an important role in football.
Very important. It's like
the most of the ball throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And led his team 15-1 this year. Mm-hmm. Went to the Grey Cup, lost. It was awesome.
Okay.
Came out that he used his position of power in the organization. And some allegations were made against him by a former strength and conditioning coach, which is not good.
Oh. What type of allegations?
Bad ones.
Okay.
Not 6 p.m. ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you for choosing this anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm dancing around it, but I think it's still very important because everyone was like, oh, he's out of the league. Like, there's no way he's going to be back. Like, the CFL is better than other organizations, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
9-game suspension. That's it.
Yeah. And they're letting him back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done something which you would deem morally reprehensible.
I wouldn't want him on my team. I wouldn't want him as my quarterback, even though he was CFL's most outstanding player last year.
Mm-hmm. Now,
yeah,
I don't mean to be disparaging of the Canadian football league.
Yeah.
Being the best quarterback in the CFL.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you're in the 99th percentile
of course.
Of football playing humans. Could you just go to the States to an NFL team and pick almost any NFL team and hire a quarterback who would be maybe not superior but equal in skills?
It's interesting because of the ball shape and the differences in the field, in the speed of play.
It's different enough that it's kind of a niche skill.
It is. You certainly have quarterbacks, Doug Flutie, who can play both CFL and NFL football at a very high level. Tim Tebow played football, got the Denver Broncos to a decent playoff run in like the early aughts. Came to the CFL, completely fizzled out. Johnny Football, Johnny Manzini, former starting quarterback for the Browns, did the same thing, came to Canada, played for Montreal.
It's happened, but it's not
it's
tremendously
happened,
common.
It's happened that NFL stars have come up and completely fizzled out and not worked out in the CFL.
Okay.
CFL quarterbacks have gone to the NFL and been very good backups. Doug Flutie's the only one, I think, off the top of my head, who's really excelled at both. So could Kelly go... Like, Kelly did play in the States for a couple of years, if I remember correctly. I think he was just like a backup. Yeah, he played for Denver and played Denver Broncos, in Indianapolis, Colts. Yeah. And even when he was a Colt, he was suspended for the first few games of the 2019 season for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy.
So he's got a history.
A little bit of a history of these things. Suspended for 9 games. I just did see...
How many games are in a season of football?
A regular season would be 18.
18. So half a season.
Half a season. Which, if you know... I don't think it's enough. Some people are like, it's fair. I don't think it's enough. Okay. I am seeing, as of literally today, I haven't had a chance to read these articles yet, that Chad Kelly has been removed from the Argos training camp, and Cameron Dukes, the backup, has...
that gentleman, folks, this is radio, so you'll also see the picture in front of me, but he just flashed a picture on my prompter.
Yes.
And one of these gentlemen has a mustache and a mullet.
Yes.
This would be the replacement.
That is the replacement. So that's Cameron Dukes.
Yeah.
Looks great. Yeah. I love the look.
Very much owning the look of the mustache and mullet.
The mullet,
flowing out.
It's great.
And, with the name Dukes.
Yeah, he really does feel like a 1980s quarterback, which I love.
Yeah, maybe that's what the league needs.
I'm fine with that. Okay. But yeah, Kelly...
The 80s is very in right now.
I know it is, right? Even mullets. Kids have mullets all the time.
Yeah, no, I was attending a function last year, and a gentleman showed up in a mullet that was... It had obviously required a lot of dedication.
Time and effort, yeah.
And he was wearing it shamelessly.
There's no shame in it.
No.
Party in the front. No. Business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, let's face it. I'm a little older than you. So
a little bit,
I remember the hipster run of mullets in the, let's call it around the 2010s. But those were ironic mullets.
Yes. These are not ironic mullets.
No.
I think I'm going to bring back the skullet.
Are you?
Yeah, I think so. Oh. I got a lot of skull going on the top now. So.
Okay. This is what people want to know on radio.
Hairstyles, especially when we're talking about sports. But yeah, Chad Kelly suspended for a minimum of 9 games because of unequivocal evidence that he broke the league's gender-based violence policy. Yeah, it does seem now that the suspension might be a little bit more than 9 games. But really, just even that the CFL was like, 9 game suspension, that's what he's going to get. Nothing more, nothing less. Kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth for a league that honestly, I don't expect anything from any league, but I, for some reason, expect more from the CFL than other big sports leagues, and I am disappointed.
Okay.
That's kind of what I wanted to.
Do you think it's because you looked up to CFL players as a kid, and now you're like, you want them to be wholesome,
good role models for the other many football players in our community? Maybe.
Okay.
If you look at my sports notes, all it is
Chad Kelly. Boo, CFL.
That's it. That was my only note.
Well,
hey, we're going on to another song, man.
Like the last couple weeks, air controller Archie has been in the studio on and off with us.
Yes, he has.
Studio, break room, air traffic control center.
Yeah,
and we all know he's his duties principally revolve around keeping livestock off the airwaves.
Yes, of course. Yep.
But he might have dreams of settling down and having a family.
I think he does.
And so this is an inspirational track for air traffic controller Archie.
Here you go, Archie. This is Archie Marry Me by Always. is Marry Me Archie.
That is a jam.
It's so good.
That'll be in your head
like that
all
too.
week.
It will.
Pretty much every day. Occupying.
The few brain cells I have left.
I was just going to say real estate, but,
Yeah, same thing.
call it what you will.
Hey,
Yeah.
news.
Okay.
What's going on?
I just got to set the record straight here.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to news, we're not usually involved in it.
No, we're not.
No, and I want to say we have no part. As well as many of our listeners, that a few weeks ago, by many I mean 2 to 3 that listen.
The listeners.
The listeners. Hi guys.
Hey.
That I suggested a few weeks ago that because of the transient nature of Dorchesterians,
Yes.
Dorchesterites, Dorchesters.
People
from Dorchester,
who
Dorchester residents.
People who identify that they reside in Dorchester as their primary residence.
Okay. That I suggested that maybe because the prison and the school were having issues keeping people in, that we should somehow, perhaps under a dome or a large wall,
build a
we
wall.
should isolate the whole of the community.
All of
now,
Dorchester
folks, I had
is.
nothing to do with this road washout that has partially isolated your community.
It's true.
And I'm fairly confident in saying that my air traffic controller co-host here also had nothing to do with this.
I didn't. I had nothing to do with it.
And while our air traffic controller Archie's been known to dig a hole in the lawn,
Yeah, he has.
never off airport property.
No, certainly not all the way out in Dorchester.
No. So just wanted to set the record straight that while it is a news item that going to Dorchester, you'll have to take one of the other 3 roads. This has not been caused by my suggestion that you should all be isolated.
So,
Hasn't exactly changed my views on the matter,
certainly not.
but,
So, we're going to go real inside baseball for a second. I don't know if I did something real dumb.
you'll have to be more specific.
I know, because I do a lot of dumb stuff all the time. I drive a smaller car. What would you call it? Like what type of car?
I would say it's a sedan of a smaller.
Yeah,
it's a Honda Civic. You could say most people are going to know, like,
Yeah, it's a Honda Civic.
standard fare in the air traffic controller community.
Yeah. So I took my good old Civic. God bless her.
Yes.
And I was picking up my lovely, beautiful wife from work.
Yes.
And she is working currently in Dorchester.
Oh.
Yeah. I had only ever driven to Dorchester one way.
Oh.
Through Frosty Hollow.
Yes.
And I
Which
knew...
is now unavailable.
Unavailable. And I knew you could do it. You could go up Main Street.
Yes.
I hadn't ever done it that way, but
Go up King Street.
Yes, sorry, King Street. I said Main Street. You're right. King Street.
It's one of the main streets.
It is. And I saw on Google Maps, and it actually suggested to me on Google Maps to go, because I was coming from Nova Scotia to pick her up,
Oh.
Walker Road.
Yeah, you had an adventure.
I had an adventure.
Yeah, that
So-
road.
It doesn't exist. It's not really a road.
A road. It just doesn't have asphalt on all of it.
And
at this
craters.
time of year, it would have some holes.
It was whole.
All right.
Like, not the band hole with Courtney Love, but
and you and your vehicle survived.
we did. Do you know what was great, though? So on the Walker Road side,
Yes.
there was no indication that hey, dummy.
Maybe this road is closed because of the time of year.
Yeah. On the other side, the Dorchester side,
Yes.
big barricades.
Yeah.
So I had to drive by through the barricades on the other side. So we did get through
On
it.
the back side of the road closed sign, is there just a note that's you should have known better?
You know what? If I go back and check, there might be, but that is my Dorchester story.
Okay.
But yeah, Mayor Black. So Andrew Black, the mayor of Tantramar. I almost said Sackville.
Yeah.
But he's the mayor of Tantramar.
Former mayor of Sackville.
The former mayor of Sackville, current mayor of Tantramar, sent a message to... Oh, it's not just infrastructure. What's the entire...
Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. DTI for short.
Yes, that was... I would say quite poignant, which is good. It is. I'm glad that Mayor Black is reaching out to the provincial level to get this kind of fixed because it is a major road to Dorchester.
Yes.
It is a major road for people to get to a hospital.
Yes.
For people from Dorchester to come into Sackville for the hospital. And that road was made so like a bunch of cars and 18-wheelers and traffic could go up and down it where
King Street and Woodlawn Road might not have been.
Exactly.
And Frost or going out through Wood Point most certainly isn't.
No.
So then the option would be to come up from Memram Cook.
Yeah.
Which is a fine road.
Which is a fine road, but that's not what's happening. All these, 18-wheelers and stuff are going up King, right?
Yeah.
So, even more... Yeah, it is funny. Like, I'm sure the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure was like, oh, it's just a road closed. We'll work on it when we can, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, when you're actually in the community, it's like, oh, no, this is actually a big problem that's going to get worse if you don't do anything quickly.
Yeah.
So good on Mayor Black for like, hey, department, we got to light a fire on you a little bit because like we can't wait. What was it, September, I heard?
September, yes.
A little bit of local news. One, I didn't even know there was a quarry here.
Well, there used to be a quarry near.
Used to be a quarry.
Now
here.
I think it's more of a pond.
I would like to go check it out.
Well, like it's like you dig a big hole in the ground anywhere, and in a great number of places, I think it'll just become a pond.
Especially here.
Yeah.
Where the water is, the ground is water sometimes. But yeah, there's a woman in the community that has been building natural structures out of fallen trees and biodegradable string, and it looks really pretty, and I want to go up there and check it out. And the woman's name is Chance, and I just kind of want to check out what Chance has been working on. So, like, if you know where the quarry is and want to check that stuff out, like, I'll do it. I'm gonna do it.
Is the quarry on private property?
I literally have no clue.
Okay.
But neither of us are like pure townies. We don't know anything about anything.
No. Well, and we're all the way out in Midgic.
That's true. So
Which doesn't.
We don't have quarries out here.
No.
I don't think.
Just cattle?
Just cows.
Strawberries?
Strawberries and cows. It's a decent band name. And the airport, yeah.
Strawberry and cows?
Strawberry, cows, and airports.
Man.
First, that's going to be my my second album name. I already got my first album name. Rex Murphy.
Man. Like... I don't really care how you feel about the national broadcaster. I know it's always up for debate, and the fact we have a national broadcaster, and this, that, and the other thing. But I think that within our lifetime, and perhaps that of our parents even, there were certain
news figures.
Not even just news. There were certain stand-up people, remarkable people in the CBC radio organization.
Sure, yes.
So you think of Rex Murphy.
You do.
You think of, oh my goodness, blank on his name.
Moose. He plays a moose. I know who you mean. I'm blanking on
McLean.
Yeah.
Yes. And you think these guys were on a national broadcaster, but like Stuart McLean, 100% non-political, so far as I know. And Rex Murphy, who used to literally host a nationwide phone-in and have dialogue with people from all over.
Yeah.
And, I remember listening to some of these things and on hot-button topics, and he was able to allow people to articulate their views. Sometimes I think even asking good enough questions, to when he understood their views, to allow them to communicate it in a better way.
Yeah.
And respectfully, and I think that in a country so big and still sparsely populated as this, that is like, give the guy a posthumous pat on the back, because
that
requires a level of skill that I think very few people possess and very few people could master. And Rex, you would have had to give it to him.
And I sit here on a radio right now, talking about Rex Murphy feels weird. You know what I mean? Like, just being like, just commenting on someone who is so big, really a monolith in Canadian radio. And I am sitting here.
I don't think it'd be a stretch to say iconic. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Just,
and just commenting on Rex Murphy feels, I don't know, big. Yeah, it's big. Like, And I know Rex Murphy, especially in his later life, when he started moving away from traditional broadcasting, he had Rex TV on YouTube, and started leaning a lot more politically one way than another. And I know that,
probably alienated quite a few people.
Sure, certainly did. Especially in the political climate now where everything is so tribalistic. And I don't even really want to talk about that. Yeah, it's just Rex Murphy really did. And I know there's people that would yell at me for saying this, like bring people in, like bring Canadians together. He did.
Yeah.
And there are people I know probably listening to this that highly disagree with me and like, Thomas, that's super problematic. And I'm like, oh, no, sorry. That's just like Canadian history too. Canadian history is sometimes problematic. Every single one of us are problematic. None of us are perfect. And Rex Murphy is, a monolith, iconic. And it is, Canada genuinely is different now. Yeah. Because of his contributions. And even like, mournful of his death, even if we wouldn't have agreed on a few things. That's what I will say.
Yeah, well, and that, I think, and this is probably a different conversation, maybe not one for a show that usually resides on the borderlines of absurdity.
Yes.
But like that's always the mark, I think, of a great leader or speaker who's someone who that you might know going in, shares a different view, but is able to articulate it in such a way, from such a reasonable standpoint, that you're like, it's that whole today. I think we are maybe wired to dislike people we disagree with.
Yeah.
You hold a different view from me, so I don't. I got to come in ready to fight. And it's like, no, it's okay to just have a different view.
Yeah. You talk about your views and have a different view.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's So what brings us together in the cultural mosaic that Marshall McLuhan talked about?
Well, man, even saying, Canadian mosaic, Canadian cultural mosaic, that gets a lot of people going these days.
It probably would.
It does, man.
But
hey,
what's going on this week?
Yeah, we're looking at Tantramar events. What's going on in Sackville and the Tantramar area? There's a big celebration even going on right now. If you're listening right now and want to go check it out, at Mount Allison for all of the, I think it's what's
homecoming week?
Yeah. Oh well, no, homecoming is different, but it's like a big
reunion.
It's a big reunion. Okay. And I don't think it's a specific class reunion. I think it's just like
a general
alumni reunion.
Wanted to come back and have a little walkabout Sackville.
I was just on campus right now, Mount A campus. There's a big old bouncy castle that I think just adults are in. So like,
it's okay to be in a bouncy castle as an adult.
Oh, 100%. I'm just saying, like, if you're an adult and you hear bouncy castle. Yeah, exactly. We have 20 years of the Tantramar Veterans Memorial Civic Center. So that is 20 years. Wow, has that really been up for 20 years?
Is that the arena?
Yeah.
Okay.
That seems like...
Yeah, it's holding up well. I've only been in it once or twice.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe a couple more times. I go there to vote.
Yeah, I guess. I forget. Yeah, I guess I go there to vote too. But when I think about going to the Civic Center, I don't go, that's where I vote. But you're right.
I've been there more to vote than for sports stuff, that's which funny. Our listener will be shocked by.
I know. And that's, of course, at the Tantramar Veterans Memorial Civic Center. Includes live music from Christine Gilroy and unveiling of new Sackville Sports Wall of Fame. That's at 6 p.m. to 7:30 on Wednesday, May 15th. Right under that, we have Must Be Nice and Forward Music presents Nico Paulo and Band and Stephen Lamp, which is an all-ages show at the Sackville Commons. That would be Thursday night from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. It is $15 or pay what you can. That is an all-ages show. Also that night, although as much as I would love to go to that concert, we're going to be elsewhere.
Are we?
Yeah, we're going to be at Trivia at Ducky's.
Nothing convinces me I know less than about how the world works than going to trivia.
Yeah, it's true. So Ducky's has trivia every second Thursday. This one will be Thursday, May 16th. Both Air Traffic Controller Luke and I will be there. Likely both having a wobbly pop.
I don't think so.
No?
Well, I have a thing the next day.
Oh, right. You have like a big thing the next day.
I'm on air traffic control, and you don't want to be anything less than full of your faculties.
It's true. I have the day off, so.
Oh, okay.
Because a Thursday, I guess, is also the birthday of my loving, beautiful wife. I know. So, got a lot going on there.
There you go.
So, if you want to celebrate my loving, beautiful wife, hey, come to trivia. Thursday, 7 p.m.
Even if you don't know a thing, it's okay.
You don't need to know anything. You just need to show up. That's everything that we got going on in the area this week. We do have some stuff for the week after, but you know what? We'll get to that the week after. Hey, you want to play a tune?
We could play a tune.
What do you want to play?
Man, I feel like I've been kind of slacking on the French content lately.
Yeah.
And, we've done some folkier or more traditional French stuff again lately.
Yeah.
But I remember the distinct look in your eyes the last time I played you a radio
yes.
tune. So I'm going to give you another. Just
Perfect.
So you'll have 2 earworms this week.
So this is Jacuzzi by Radio.
Ha! Bubbly. Yippee! Yo! J'ai de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous venir dans mon jacuzzi? J'ai de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous venir dans mon jacuzzi? Un jacuzzi plein de clowns, c'est le festival. Un jacuzzi extra large, on fait des festes de cheval. Mon jacuzzi baigne-toi, submarine wash-toi. GPS sous l'eau, les nouveaux jacuzzi. On boit du homemade wine, des grosses bouteilles. Ta jacuzzi, believe you me, pas pareil. Je vends des one-way cruise, avaler toute ma jacuzzi. À chaque qui veut venir parce que je vois ta jalousie. Pop dash d'une poule dans ma jacuzzi. Pas de bedding sous la seule roue, ma jacuzzi. Grosse jacuzzi, juste comme dans les movies. Les shopping, je suis cool, puis les femmes aiment ça. Elle est grosse, puis pleine d'eau, comme les femmes que j'aime. Ma jacuzzi est 3000 fois plus grosse que la chaîne. Y'a de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous aller dans mon jacuzzi? J'ai de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous venir dans mon jacuzzi? Si tu vois ça que j'ai vu dans mon jacuzzi, des mermaids pis des UFO dans mon jacuzzi. Y'a des protestes pour des fuck dans ma jacuzzi. Y'a des blancs pis des indiens qui se battent dans ma jacuzzi. J'porte une goose fur dans ma jacuzzi. Ma vie a changé depuis que j'ai une jacuzzi. J'mange des onion rings dans ma jacuzzi. Chaque jour c'est Noël pis j'paye point. J'ai une goose jacuzzi juste comme dans les movies. Mais j'apprends je suis cool pis les femmes aiment ça. Elle est grosse pis pleine d'eau comme les femmes que j'aime. Ma jacuzzi est 3000 fois plus grosse que la tienne. Y'a de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous aller dans mon jacuzzi? Écoute la musique qui joue, c'est mon propre city. Et c'est Tony 7, elle s'appelle Jacuzzi. Surf and turf, jacuzzi, le monde surf. Envoyé de 9 à 5, d'autres qui fait le snap. Moi j'te dis dans ma jacuzzi, la vie est simple. J'vends les condos qui veulent tout ma jacuzzi. Pamphlet touristique que je fais pour ma jacuzzi. 2 millions de touristes, man, pour ma jacuzzi. Private jet landing strip pour ma jacuzzi. Ça prend une autre planète pour ma jacuzzi. Tout le monde se fait mettre dans ma jacuzzi. Ça prend une autre planète pour ma jacuzzi. J'ai une grosse jacuzzi, juste comme dans les movies. Les shopping, je suis cool, puis les femmes aiment ça. Elle est grosse, puis pleine d'eau, comme les femmes que j'aime. Ma jacuzzi est 3000 fois plus grosse que la chaîne. Y'a de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous aller dans mon jacuzzi? J'ai de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous venir dans mon jacuzzi? Tu peux voir ma jacuzzi de la Deep Space Nine. Dans les grosses gas power puis le moteur pousse. Assis sur mon tour avec mes chaînes cell phone. J'ai des calls qui me réveillent à cause y'a 7 time zone. Easy breezy, beautiful jacuzzi. Beautiful jacuzzi, beautiful jacuzzi. Peace and love. J'ai de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous venir dans mon jacuzzi? Y'a de la place en masse dans mon jacuzzi. Voulez-vous venir dans mon jacuzzi?
Now, I have no clue what they were saying where I went to see the movie was about a jacuzzi.
And the implement or the
Implications?
that there's lots of space in the jacuzzi, so one should come and join him in the jacuzzi.
You know, some jacuzzis actually don't have a lot of space.
Some people, they're solo jacuzzis.
Yeah, but I guess you could have a solo jacuzzi and want people to come join you anyway, if you know what I mean.
You could, or you could just use that space to read a good book.
Yeah. Hey, did you know, we're just like side note from sports for a second.
Okay.
Hey, did you know that the Mounties Daniel Bell got drafted by the Ticats?
You know what?
Ticats?
I actually I overheard a conversation.
So he was the 34th pick in the CFL draft. Fourth pick in the fourth round.
How many picks are there in a draft?
CFL, I don't know if it has 7. I actually don't know for the CFL. That is a good question.
Okay.
I don't even know for the NFL anymore. Because, like NBA.
But is it like hundreds or is it like dozens?
That's the thing. Like NBA, there's 60, right?
Okay.
2 rounds. You each get to pick 2 rookies. I know the NFL draft, if I remember correctly, goes to like 8 rounds, 7 or 8 rounds.
All right.
CFL probably goes to close to 7 or 8 rounds.
Oh, so quite a few people.
Yeah, because especially in CFL, there are so many positions, right? Let's see. How many rounds do we got? We have 8 rounds.
8 rounds.
So 8 rounds, 74 picks.
Okay. So like went fairly early on.
Yeah, he went in 4th. He's
like desirable.
Very incredible player.
Okay.
Daniel Bell. It makes me, I don't know if sad's the right word, but to see like a man born in 2001 is now playing in the CFL.
Okay.
That's kind of crazy to me.
Making you feel a little like well-aged cheese.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I know you might not have, but like I grew up like wanting to be a professional athlete. Like, it's like, okay, I'll be starting my prime at 24, like, thinking this when I'm 16, right?
Yeah.
Start my prime at 24, 25, blah, blah, blah.
Play a decade.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me now, obviously far, far, far removed from that line of thinking, but like, professional athletes especially in the NFL, retire at my age.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, the people, all the, my generation is gone. We're gone.
Yeah.
And I ain't that old.
Huh.
Anyway, got off track for a second.
That's okay.
We got a whole bunch to talk about, but what are you reading, man?
Well, I was talking about reading in the fictional jacuzzi, which I don't have. Maybe we should have one added out here at the airport.
A fictional jacuzzi or just a jacuzzi?
Just a jacuzzi.
Yeah. Archie's a water dog too. He would love a jacuzzi, I think.
Yeah, probably hard on the filters. No,
that's true.
Still just kind of like picking my way away at that Res Mars book. Mm-hmm. But I'm far enough into it now that I was like, I should probably get the next one.
Yes.
And I had a family member who's also a fairly
reader,
well read. Yeah. So we popped over yesterday to the used book store down in Amherst.
It's a good store. I still haven't been. I've only ever heard good things.
Yeah, it's
Amy's bookstore, correct?
Amy's bookstore
on South Albion.
Yep, and unfortunately they didn't have Blue Mars next in the series. So
wait. So it turns from red to green to blue?
No, red, blue, green. I think.
That, I guess, makes more sense in my brain.
Yeah, I think it's a terraforming operation.
I was going to say, because that's why I was confused that it went red, green, blue.
Sorry.
No, we're on the same page now.
All right.
That's why I was like, okay, because I didn't know it was about terraforming. So I was like, it sounds like the way you worded it is like red, bad. Well, not bad, but start. Green, great. Blue, we terraformed way too bad. Yeah. We went way too far.
We went a little hard. And
it's only oceans.
All right. Maybe that's what you want.
Maybe. Hey, that's my idea. No one steal it.
Okay.
I'm going to write a book
about going too far with terraforming and ending up.
The first one's going to be called Crimson Earth. The second one will be Cerulean Earth. And the last one will be Sage Earth.
And I'm sure at least one of our listeners will read it.
Thanks, Melissa.
So anyway, I was down at the used bookstore.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the book I was looking for, but I got a couple little short Arthur C. Clarke ones. I think Arthur C. Clarke, as far as your like classic sci-fi guys, is probably a heavy hitter among the short stories, which I think I talked about that a few weeks ago. The book I had read was like, he really, after having finished it, you could feel he was writing up to this idea.
Yes.
But it's a short enough book, it's like 120 pages. So you're allowed. And some people will never have that kind of idea.
It's true.
And much less be able to walk you up to it in a way that you're like, oh, it's a good read.
His idea.
It is a good idea. It's worth thinking about. The machines are going to take over.
They are. They already are.
Oh, okay.
Look,
that takes a load off. I was worried about when it was going to happen.
No, but we already have machines doing art and music, right? And
yes.
Everyone, oh man.
People are unhappy.
Oh, I don't know if I want to
talk about this.
Yeah.
We've been pretty serious tonight.
I know, and this is serious too.
Oh.
Because I didn't even mean to go down this rabbit hole, but Drake. Have you heard of that artist?
Recording artist out of Toronto?
Yes, went by Jimmy, I forget.
Not Eat World?
No, I forget Jimmy's last name from Degrassi, because he was on Degrassi as an actor beforehand.
Okay.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar are in a rap beef. You haven't heard any of this. You're looking at me like a deer in headlights.
Okay.
You haven't heard any of this.
No, I don't.
Okay. So maybe this is, hey, here's some music news.
Okay, yeah.
Drake.
Yes.
Canadian artist.
Quite a famous one.
Actually, probably the most famous Canadian right now in the world.
Right now? Really? You'd go that far?
I don't name a more famous Canadian.
I don't know.
He's one of the biggest recording artists. He is the biggest recording artist in hip hop.
Okay.
Started a rap beef with Kendrick Lamar, who I'm sure you have heard the name.
I've heard the name, yes.
Now, Kendrick Lamar, here's the other thing. Drake, he makes bangers. He makes tunes, All
right.
Kendrick Lamar writes poetry.
Oh.
He has a Pulitzer Prize.
Ooh.
From rapping.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do any other rappers have that?
No.
Any?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
He is wild.
Can you name another musician that has a Pulitzer?
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head, no.
Wow. All right, cool.
Anyway, I'm not going to get into
a heavyweight in his own right.
The heavyweights on the opposite spectrum of art, music, and folk
Pop.
music.
Okay.
So anyway, they have beef going way back that I'm not going to get into. I got on this talking about creating AI.
Yes.
In one of Drake's diss tracks, he used an AI Tupac.
Oh.
Which everyone hated.
Oh.
And he used an AI Snoop Dogg, even though he's still alive.
How does Snoop Dogg feel about this?
He's not
He's staying
responding.
out of it?
Yeah, he's not responding.
Because what I do know about the hip hop world is that Snoop's self-managed.
Yeah.
Correct? And owns his... And I mean, I can't think of another person in that genre of music who has used their music as a stepping stone to build
he's just
a powerful brand.
Yeah, he's just a pop culture icon now.
Yes.
And he's still a musician. He doesn't really release music anymore.
So I'd be very interested to see that someone who's obviously put a ton of work into cultivating their, managing their brand, for lack of a less cheesy way to say it.
Yeah.
How he felt about someone having his
likeness.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Used
that. Especially since Kendrick, I'm not going to get into the 90s East Coast, West Coast thing, but Kendrick is a West Coast guy. Snoop Dogg's a West Coast guy. Tupac, West Coast guy, which is why Drake would have used those two people specifically, being Snoop Dogg and Tupac. Anyway, that's how I got into thinking about the AI thing. The beef started being Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole, who you may or may not have heard of.
I'm sorry, I can't help you there.
That's fine. It's we the big three, and Kendrick responds later, not the big three, just the big me, and then it escalates further to Drake coming out and hey, you got small feet and you're short. And it has gotten to the point that escalated even further to the point that the last one that Kendrick Lamar released was hey, here's all the heinous crimes that you've done.
Ooh.
That I have proof of.
I was going to ask you if this might be an elaborate media exercise?
Someone got shot this weekend.
Probably not.
Elaborate media exercise.
Well, I don't mean to be cynical about it.
It would have to be wild. Like, I will say this: you want to be cynical about it. The rap beef seemed to have stopped because record labels seem to have stepped in and said, "You're going to cost us money by throwing Drake under the bus that hard. You need to stop because we're all going to lose money, not just." Like
the sports equivalent of it's bad for the sport, not just bad for our team.
Yep.
Wow.
Which, anyway, I heard a rumor. I don't know if this one's true. That Drake is currently selling every single house he has in America.
Okay.
Which is not something an innocent man does. That's all I have to say.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Anyway. Gold stars,
like
dude.
Charlie Chaplin going back to England.
Yeah.
Because of being accused. Anyway. Huh.
And that is the biggest Canadian artist in the world right now. Isn't that fun?
Man.
So if you want to, you could go look up what I'm talking about. And if you don't. Hey. Yeah, we have gold stars to do.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how we got there from the used bookstore in Amherst.
Oh, right, because you mentioned AI.
AI.
Yeah. Also, thank you for bringing me back. We'll do gold stars in a second because I wanted to mention a used bookstore in Parsboro.
Oh.
So I was in Parsboro, and there's this really small, I forget what street it's on.
There's only a couple in Parsboro.
It's true.
So
and it was this really small bookstore, and I'll try to get the name of it again next week so I can like shout it out proper. But it was just like, it was in a guy's house. It was like, 3 rooms of like very well curated books. Like, he's very into like children's education too, which is awesome. Like there was a lot of Mi'kmaq books, Celtic books. There was a lot of Francophone books, which. Yeah, and I didn't go in for any particular reason. Like you said, I went in for one book.
Did you leave with anything?
I left with quite a few kids' books that I will soon be reading to a child, I think.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you're in Parsboro or in the area of Parsboro and want to look up...
If you're in the area of a bookstore...
Check out the bookstore.
Go get a book.
Especially local bookstores.
Yeah.
Check out your local book. Like... Yeah, support your local bookstores. And I know this for a fact, every local bookstore, if you're looking for a book, they can order it for you. Yes, Kohl's and Indigo can order it for you, but so can your local mom and pop shop.
Yep.
And helps them a lot more.
Man, I will say that the gentleman who runs the one in Amherst, like I asked him if he had the book, and he gave me a confident answer. And he's like, we could check, but, the mental capacity to keep that inventory
I know, right?
In your head.
Yeah. Same with the man in Parsboro, where I'd say it was a few rooms, but it was packed of books.
All right.
And he was just like, I forget what book I asked. He was just like, yeah, and just like,
yeah, let's go get it.
Yeah, you're right. It's very, very wild. I love bookstores.
I've seen that exemplified in librarians too.
Yeah, right.
We shouldn't make that exclusively for bookstore people.
No.
Man, I don't even know what's like in the child's book section at home. There'll be books that come out that's like, where? What?
I don't even know what's in my entire record collection.
Yeah.
It's probably something I should know.
There you go.
Gold stars.
Gold stars.
Doing some gold
what do you
stars. I have a couple this week.
A couple?
Yeah, well, I think we missed.
Are you splitting it?
No, we missed a week of gold stars.
Did we actually?
I think we did.
Oh.
I think we did.
I only came back in 1 star.
Well, you got to think of one real quick. I'll give you 2, and then you got to think of one real quick.
All right.
So the first gold star I'm going to give out is to Sean Brown. Sean Brown is a local Yu-Gi-Oh player who travels and does tournaments in the Maritimes, and he was showing me how to play the card game Yu-Gi-Oh! It is, how did my loving, beautiful wife describe it? It's like Exploding Unicorns, which is kind of like a card board game that people play on
card-based game.
Yeah, a card-based game. I don't know why I said board game, but a card-based game on steroids. There are so many rules and so many things, and it's like, Exploding Unicorns is like, it's really easy. You just do what it says on the card. Well, it's like, that's what you do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, but all the cards are
convoluted.
Oh, man, it's a different language. So anyway, shout out to... local Yu-Gi-Oh! Expert Sean Brown. Check him out if you have any questions about Yu-Gi-Oh! And I probably won't continue playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But I will say, for the one afternoon that I picked it up, I enjoyed it.
Okay, there you go.
Second one is Long McQuaid. A few people may have gleaned that I once or twice have picked up an instrument to play.
Yes, well, I've point blank asked you as a person with in-depth knowledge of music on this show to provide commentary on it. So I think our keen listener
may know. Long McQuaid, I just went, I was in St. John this weekend. That is where my mother is and one of my brothers, and had a wonderful weekend with them. But we went to Long McQuaid, and I got to talk to one of...
The staff?
The staff, yes, at Long McQuaid, who, we've had Phil and I are friends and have been for, a long time. He really helped me out when I was really young, starting as a musician.
That's cool.
And, we've just kept in touch ever since. And, I just think, I know Long McQuaid's like a national chain, but, when you... the owner.
But people don't buy from national chains. People buy from people they know at national chains, right?
100%. Go to
people buy from people.
I go to if I'm making a multiple $1,000 purchase at Long McQuaid, which I've done more than once. I will drive to St. John to see Phil.
There you go.
So I am just giving it to Long McQuaid because they have been very, very good to me over the years. Not just Phil. Phil's the number one guy, but...
And see, that's funny because my only experience with Long and McQuaid was some years ago when I was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed business student.
Yes.
It came to the conclusion that Long and McQuaid was very early in on the financing of purchases, right?
They were.
I mean, sure, Sears would do it for an adult, maybe on a big purchase, but Long and McQuaid would finance a guitar to a 16-year-old.
Yes, they did.
And at the time, I was like, this is pretty wild that and maybe that's built in, maybe that's Long and McQuaid providing the financing, maybe they were doing it to someone else. I don't know. But they were in an age today, now you
finance everything.
You finance everything. Yeah. I remember a decade ago, the first time a buddy of mine told me he financed a mattress, and I was like, that's ridiculous.
Weird, right? You're financing a computer, a laptop, which is so normal now.
Yes, but at the time it was it wasn't unheard of, but it was strange. But Long and McQuaid was so early in on that game. I was like, yo, man, this is what you want. You got a little bit to put down. We'll put you on payments for this for,
18 months, whatever. Yeah. At 16, I was financing stuff through Long McQuaid.
Wild.
Yeah. And, it's probably one of the reasons why my credit was so good at a young age.
Yeah. I was going to ask that as the next question.
Yeah.
Beat me
I did. Yeah. No, my credit.
So, and I don't mean that as a criticism.
No, certainly not. It's just they, took, what do people call it? Disruption, disruptive products or disruptive practices in business or whatever. It's they took a chance on something that may or may not have worked, and it worked.
Yeah. Well, and I bet you came across very organically. It's talking with store managers and staff. It's like, well, what's your biggest problem? And it's like, well, our biggest problem is we got people coming in here wanting to buy a $1,500 guitar or a $3,000 drum kit or whatever it is.
And they got $300 on them.
And they got $300.
I was like, well, they can get that $300 every month.
We'll put them in it.
Yeah. I am just looking at the time right now. We got 4 minutes to get through everything.
Sorry, Gold Stars. I'll softball it down and give it to librarians because they deserve a shout out. And then I'm going to give it to the Aurora Borealis because look up at the stars.
Yeah.
And maybe you see some northern lights the last couple nights.
That is not how you spell anything. I will know what that is later.
That's okay.
Hey, I'm going to really quickly go through some promos. Hey, formerly known as Under the Dino, live on KEXP brings you the very best of KEXP's world-renowned live in-studio and remote performances. Each week, we will bring you a new live session from emerging artists to well-established acts spanning styles, genres, and cultures. They've had everyone from Macklemore, Florence the Machine, Robert Glasper, Christian McBride, Jeremy Dutcher, and many more. You can go on kexp.org to find all of their performances. You can also find them at youtube.com/KEXP. Sunday at 8 p.m., we have Black Atlantic, a primarily Black Atlantic-centric podcast, website, and media channel with the goal of bringing Atlantic POC voices to the world, hosted by Clinton Davis and Hilary LeBlanc. You can check them out at www.blackatlantic.ca, and you can also follow them on Spotify and visit their YouTube page. After that, we have The Night Shift with Luca Capone, spinning a diverse, adventurous mix of sounds ranging from psychedelic jazz and experimental hip-hop. Heavy focus on Canadian and independent artists. You got one?
Yep. If you want to tune in tomorrow night, just about this time, you can catch Indie Evening, which you should listen exclusively because of a fantastic show name.
Yes.
And also because if you're listening to us, you probably care for some music that's a little out of what you might hear on commercial radio.
100%.
So you're going to hear it tomorrow night at 7 o'clock with Grace.
Hey, we got through that in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
We did. You want?
That's wild.
Are we going to play ourselves out?
We will. I'm just going to really quickly. Hey, thanks for listening. Thank you for CHMA for hosting, especially today as we're in the airport and broadcasting. Check them out at CHMAFM.com and CHMFM on all the socials. Check out MidgicAirport.com and visit our merch store. I'm wearing some merch right now. I'm not wearing some merch right now, but we both have some merch now. And I've been wearing it all week. So comfy, the hats. And my loving, beautiful wife has been wearing our sweaters, and she finds it incredibly comfortable as well. You can also check it out on the socials at Midgic Airport, except on X. We are known as at Midgic_Airport. Finally, if you miss an episode, you can catch us anywhere you get your podcasts.
Have a great evening, folks.
Here's Judy, the song of the year for the ECMAs by Jen Grant.
There you go.
She was a payroll honey, wanted a blonde beehive for her wedding day, 'cause you might as well try. He drove a Cadillac and a cherry red, had his hair slicked back, but there was something to be said for Judy.